Now, for your listening pleasure, David Moses, Master Distributor for Zija International, and Russ Bianchi, formulator of the Moringa-based products by Zija International, in this special edition of Straight Talk.
The contents of this CD could be the most life-changing, life-enhancing material that you have ever heard. This is a special edition of Straight Talk with the formulator of the life-changing, life-enhancing Zija product line, Mr. Russ Bianchi. And so join us over the next 30 minutes or so for some very pertinent information as to how to maintain high-level wellness and vitality. Russ, before we get into the content of this CD, I think it appropriate that people get to know a little bit of your background, who you are, what you do, and where your expertise lies as a world-class formulator.
Thank you, David. My name's Russ Bianchi, and I'm the CEO and Managing Director of a company called Adept Solutions Incorporated. We do three things at Adept. We either create, convert, or stabilize. We do it in pharmaceutical drug development. We do it in food and beverage, skincare and cosmetics, flavor chemistry and stabilization, as well as functional dietary supplementation. As an example, if you've ever seen or eaten an energy bar in North America, there's an extremely high probability that if we did not formulate it, we at some point had something to do with it. That was a multi-billion-dollar-a-year market shift away from the late 1980s forward from breakfast cereals, fat-laden granola bars, and candy bars. So what do? We create, convert, stabilize.
It seems that in North America, we've got more people with health challenges today than ever with all of our technology, all of our science, all of our advances in medicine. What has happened over these last decades?
In a phrase, the food chain. We used to eat only about 1,500 calories a day in the mid-1960s. We used to eat from four basic food groups: fruits, vegetables, nuts, fish, poultry, meat, fowl, pork, lamb, game. We used to eat real grains. We used to consume real food in general. We got real nutrition as a result of that. And the average person only consumed about 1,500 calories a day. Today, we're consuming more than double those calories. We're receiving up to 85% less absorbable nutrients in our food and beverages than we did 3.5 to 4 decades ago. So we're overfed and we're undernourished. We're also overdrugged. We have gone from a population in North America where only 16% were on one prescription drug a day, literally from birth to death, to over 64% today, from cradle to grave, being on at least 3 prescription drugs a day. But David, that's not where it ends. Not only are the foods not containing the nutrients anymore, but they put harmful things back into the food. In the early 70s, basically, the food chain changed forever. We were told that whole raw milk from a grass-fed cow was no longer good for us if fresh, even though it had been fine for the last 10,000 years. We were told to drink 1%, 2% skim, reduce low-fat, fat-free, and the parts became more valuable from a profit standpoint than the whole. Only about a year after we were told this, there's a guy reading a Japanese patent on rice, and he gets the brilliant idea that he's going to substitute rice with cattle feed, corn, and he says that we're going to make boatloads of money by selling North America corn. And what he did was, we'll grind the corn up, we'll hit it with 6 molar industrial sulfuric acid, and we'll modify it to cornstarch. From there, you'll hit it with amylase or artificial enzymes that are harsh and carcinogenic, and you will do an enzymatic isomerization from modified cornstarch to glucose. You would know it as thick Caro syrup, about 6/10 the sweetness of sugar, but very thick. But from there they got greedy and they went 26 more chemical and industrial steps to an artificial molecule that's never existed before, 1.41 times sweeter than cane sugar, though only a monosaccharide, called high fructose corn syrup, sometimes labeled as glucose, depending on the country. Well, the body can't recognize this at all. It jacks your triglycerides, it raises your serum cholesterol, it causes hypertension, it causes cardiovascular disease, it'll shut down the endocrinology and hormonal secretions of your brain, and you'll become depressed. It messes with the endocrinology and causes inflammation in the islets of Langhorne of your pancreas, and you become insulin resistant, hypoglycemic, and diabetic. It messes with your liver, and this will automatically be converted from 4 calories to 9 calories stored body fat. We're overfed, we're undernourished, we're overdrugged, but we are receiving harmful ingredients in our food and beverage. After air, water, and salt, the next least costly thing to stick into food or beverage is high fructose corn syrup. 20 pounds per year, no matter who you are, will do all of these things that we're talking about. This is empirically proven and published. It's not refutable in any way, shape, or form. The average North American today is consuming over 100 pounds of high fructose corn syrup. It's a disaster in the making. It's a slow motion train wreck. Only 1 out of 28 people in the mid-60s had any blood glucose issue. Only 1 out of 45 had any weight issue at all. Today, 1 out of 3 has a blood glucose issue, and 7 out of 10 are overweight or morbidly overweight.
It's obvious, and I think our listeners would note that there have been an extraordinary number of TV commercials promoting a variety of drugs for a variety of conditions, many of which I never even heard of, even a decade ago. And it seems to be perpetuating more and more and more. And all of this because our foods that we eat, well, the air, the water, and in particular our food, simply no longer has the nutritional values that it once had. And that has really become the foundation for all the challenges, is my understanding, throughout North America and other parts of the world.
Yes, David, that's absolutely true. If we magically could go back to the 1960s and eat the food that we ate then, would we get all the nutrients again? The answer is no. If I took a head of spinach from that era, how many heads of spinach would I have to eat now? Almost 40 to get the same nutrient value. I don't know about you. I'm not a goat or a cow, David. I'm not going to eat 40 of anything. So how do you get nutrients into your body again? Well, we'll talk about that in one of the upcoming segments. But what's really going on here is a case of being overdrugged, like we mentioned, along with the lack of nourishment. Restless leg syndrome? Give me a break. These are made-up diseases now. How come nobody was depressed prior to the mid-1970s when antidepressants actually came in? Because we're getting real fat in our intake. We're getting real vitamin D3. We are simply not getting the nutrients. If you give the body what the body needs, the body self-corrects. Drugs are not designed to cure. Drugs are designed to slowly or rapidly degrade or maintain at great cost with an average of 70 adverse side effects per drug of the last 5,794 approved at Food and Drug in America or Health Canada. And the result is we're walking zombies now. It's a lack of nutrients.
I think in the next segment, Russ, we're going to give people an idea of why Zija International has really set the foundation for shifting everybody's ability to maintain high-level wellness and vitality through pure nutrition from Moringa oleifera.
Wellness is a derivative of the correct nutrition. We're not your doctor. We don't diagnose, treat, prevent, cure, mitigate, or prescribe. But we do know, and it is proven emphatically, if you take more plants into your body, the better you will be. That's irrefutable.
It has become obvious, Russ, that people are now aware and are becoming educated that eating more natural foods, eating more plant-based material is going to lead to higher level wellness and vitality. And this is where Moringa comes in, and the reason why the Discovery Channel did the documentary on Moringa oleifera, and of course the National Institutes of Health wrote an article March 21st, 2008 about Moringa, and so many other third-party areas of validation that have really set the foundation for Zija International to be a global giant in bringing Moringa to the world, to the mass market. And I thank you for the expertise that you have brought to the table that has made all of this possible. But one of the questions, and a most common question, is that people ask is, what makes this different? We've got so many different products in the marketplace, from liquid nutrition to supplementation and a whole array of nutritional type products. Why is Moringa such a superfood? What makes it unique? Why did the Discovery Channel do a documentary on it?
This is not magic berries, bushes, fruits, leaves, juices, herbs, talking burning bushes. The problem is the vast majority of botanicals that are touted do deliver that in nature. But when you see what they've delivered them into in finished products, it's completely non-absorbable or non-efficacious. For almost 60 years, the pharmaceutical industry looked at this plant, wanted it. Well, what's the pharmaceutical model? They want to isolate, they want to synthesize, they want to patent whatever it is so nobody can compete. They'll run it through animal toxicology. If they don't kill too many mice, monkeys, or pigs, they'll stick it in human ingestion trials. They'll do phase 1, 2, and 3. And then about 1 out of 7 will get approved at a regulatory agency. Of those that get approved, about 1 out of 6 will be what they call a blockbuster and make lots of money. Well, they failed for 6 decades in that model. When we looked at this, it was a needle in a haystack. There was no commercial supply. There was no standardization. And there were 58 different species and varietals around the world in 80 countries, 10 degrees plus or minus the equator. This was a real needle in the haystack. When we started looking at the studies into the specificity of the real nutrient-dense versions, we found it. But there was a major problem. Invariably, the simplest answer tends to be the correct one. The reason no one was using it had nothing to do with supply. It had to do with taste. For Moringa to work correctly, it needs to be enzymatically alive or bioavailable, raw, if you will. Well, if you eat it raw in nature, it's protecting itself from its nutrient density from being devoured by insects or animals, and it tastes horrifically bad. I mean, really bad. So our job in looking at this was, how do we keep this fully bioavailable for folks, and how do we overcome the horrific taste and flavor? That took 18 months, a huge team of scientists, millions of dollars to get there. 143 failures before we got there. But did we deliver something that is not only 100% bioavailable, we also delivered it at very high efficacious dosages. Not just leaf, but leaf and leaf puree, fruit puree, seed cake, cellulose fiber, delivering all your vitamins and minerals that have been stripped out of food and beverage, 36 naturally occurring anti-inflammatories. I just didn't say ibuprofen or aspirin. 36 naturally occurring in this one plant. Now you're getting the idea why science wanted it. Huge levels of naturally occurring omega-3, 6, and 9 that are 100% absorbable as opposed to fish oil sources, flaxseed, seafood sources, which are only partially or non-absorbable. So if they worked, they would be absorbed, but they're not. 46 anti-carcinogens and antioxidants in this one plant. All the amino acids, 9 essential in the correct ratio, sequencing, and percentage to make this fully recognizable for the Krebs cycle, human metabolization, uptake, sustainability, and improved wellness.
Well, there's no question about it. As I have traveled all over the country and other parts of the world, marketing and sharing the benefits of the Zija International products and Moringa as the base of all of the products, there's no question, just from the results that I've seen, that people are enjoying all of the benefits of a highly efficacious product that the body is able to recognize and then absorb all of those nutrients. And taste is a big one, because if you're going to have a person use the product on a consistent basis, it has to be pleasant. It has to be something that people look forward to. And I will tell you, Russ, you've done a great job on the taste of our beverages, our energy drink, and of course, both in the liquid and the dry form. It's really a pleasure to use these products and to promote them. Moringa seems to be in certain parts of the world. Zija is first to market with these products. They ship it from all over the world, from our farms in dry form, non-concentrated, to our manufacturing facility where it is then packaged and labeled. What is the difference in the fact that it is shade-dried and brought here in a non-concentrated form?
No ultraviolet degradation, enzymatically alive, amino acids sequenced, unaltered. The result is you get something the body can recognize and the body can absorb. You know, people say to me all the time, David, well, you know, I could go on the internet and I can find Moringa at lower cost. Yes, you may, but it's not the same Moringa, and it's certainly not a proprietary blend, and it's certainly not absorbable, and it has been radically dumbed down. So you can do that. Yeah, you can buy a Yugo missing 3 wheels, or you can buy a Ferrari. We're dealing in Ferraris that just happen to be Zija Green.
Oh, no question about it. The results that we have seen have been spectacular. I know that there's been some books written. There is many, many different third-party validations that are extraordinary, like the National Institutes of Health as one example, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. Maybe you could share some of your thoughts on some of the articles and books that have been written.
Yeah, at my website, russbianchi.com, there is a published study from Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. We call it a meta-analysis. 171 published, vetted, referee, medical and scientific journal studies on the specific varietal that only Zija International provides. There's a brand new book out from Dr. Howard W. Fisher, anti-aging specialist, world-renowned. He published on his 15th book, Moringa, Magic, Myth, or Miracle, and you can find it at themoringabook.com. Over 500 brand new, vetted, referee, scientific and medical journal studies. This is the real deal. Nobody else has this. This is the most nutrient-dense botanical on the planet. Over 92 assayable, efficacious amounts of nutrients that have not been in any source from anyone in any combination at any cost, and aren't in the food chain and haven't been for 4.5 decades.
Well, we're going to talk about the benefits of all of this as they relate to the Moringa products that Zija has created, a whole line of products that are now changing lives. I mean, it is amazing to see what is happening for people, complete life-altering results. And that, of course, has been the catalyst to the growth of this company, one person telling another about their personal experience on the products. And I want to focus in on the weight management system that we have, a specific division within Zija International, because it's just been so impactful, and for me personally too. I'm down 22 pounds. I've maintained that weight loss. I've never had more energy. It's amazing, really. What is going on with people in terms of obesity and being overweight in North America? And then we're going to go to this next section.
Well, I like to say Zija is complete from Z to A, and it actually gets into your body. What is going on with North America and why 7 out of 10 have a major challenge in weight or morbid weight issues is what we discussed in segment 1 regarding the nutrients. But, you know, these for 39 years in North America, from January 1 to about March 31st of each year, we seem to line up and want to do the kumbaya weigh-in sessions, the celebrities on TV telling you they lost 50 pounds when they've actually been at a fat farm on a treadmill 7 days a week, cardboard meals coming to your house, the magic new and improved point scales. We've seen them all. 39 years of supposed weight loss systems that don't work, ripping off the economy and consumers consistently for over $60 billion a year. It doesn't work. Yeah, you'll lose initial weight, and you'll gain it all back again because they're designed that way so that you extract more money from consumers again the next time around. What is fundamentally different, we're going to talk about in the next segment, with Moringa, the most efficacious and dense botanical on the planet, and the Zija weight loss system, is how to permanently lose that weight with little or no effort.
Well, Russ, thank you for segment 1 and 2. It's been, again, very educational for me and I'm sure for our listeners. But let's talk about what has just changed so many lives, and that's our weight management system, really built on 3 fundamental products that we have within the Zija product line. And the part that I love about it most is that people have maintained their success. And they've maintained it consistently. And for some now, going on their second year, I mean, we've only had this product line for 2.5 years, and I'm seeing results that are consistent. Let's talk about the components of the system and why they are so effective, because this is not a diet. We're not asking people to go on a diet. If diets worked, then obviously there'd be less people with a weight challenge each year, but there seems to be more people with a weight challenge each year.
7 out of 10 have a serious weight challenge or a morbid weight challenge, David. That's how bad it's gotten. What's so exciting about the Zija weight loss program is very simple, a simple referral question. Might you happen to know someone who would like to lose some weight at little or no cost? Little if you just want to use this. This is going to be about 80 cents less on the dollar than anything that didn't work for the last almost 40 years. Or if you refer a few friends that also want to lose some weight, you get yours for free. And anything beyond that, they're going to send you money for having referred folks. You know, I love Indiana Jones movies, David. Steven Spielberg has yet to send me a residual check for referring people to those movies. In this model, the ownership at Zija International, Ken Brailsford, the founder, is going to send you money for actually helping your friends. It's really quite a remarkable thing. There's 3 basic things that need to happen. You need real nutrition in your body that hasn't been in the food and beverage chain for 4.5 decades. Zija International delivers that to you in the form of a delicious beverage at 19 calories. And you've got your base foundation to then allow us to give you a morning or afternoon herbal capsule that basically triggers leptin in your brain, meaning you are satiated, you're not hungry, and then you burn your own body fat, adipose tissue instead. There's a problem with that. The problem is at about 15 to 20 pounds, depending on the individual, you're going to hit a plateau. And you say, gee, I need to lose another 10, 15 pounds, and I'm not getting anywhere. Well, what's happened is we release stored toxins that were in your fat when we converted that fat back to energy or blood glucose. So then we give you a premium tea, which is the third part of the system, and that makes sure the toxification of your liver and things that handle that fat conversion don't get overwhelmed. And it's not a 1-2 punch, it's a 1-2-3 punch. And oh, by the way, there isn't necessarily exercise needed to achieve this. We've literally had people report tens to hundreds of pounds of permanent weight loss without really changing their normal regimen. Would it be suggested and recommended that along with this incredible offense, you also play a decent defense? Yes, it would. You know, we could give you the all-stars of your favorite sport, but if you don't play any defense, that isn't really going to make you win the game. So there are a few very short list things that we recommend you avoid. But for the vast majority of caloric intake, may you take it and use the system and get results? The answer is an emphatic yes.
Well, I'm always amazed at how quickly people experience results and how simply. We're not asking people to change lifestyle habits and change what they eat. They're still eating 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and only adding in proper nutrition in the morning with our Smart Drink, which, as you said, tastes amazing, and yes, it does, and taking an herbal capsule after breakfast, one after lunch, and those capsules make it so simple for the weight to melt away. And then, of course, detoxification with the tea, and people have their dinner in the evening, and they're getting great results during the week. And we don't actually, cure, diagnose, mitigate, or prescribe in terms of disease or anything along that, but it seems that when you're giving the body what it requires, and you're giving the body a little bit of assistance, it's amazing how quickly the body can correct itself when it's got the tools to do so.
That's true, David. And basically, we're allowing the body's correct systems to function correctly again. We're kind of jump-starting the battery. No, we're not a drug. No, we don't diagnose, treat, prevent, cure, mitigate, or prescribe. But this is made to pharma standards under dietary supplement law, and then in a direct referral model. It's a very simple system. Anyone can do this. Are there any issues if you happen to be on prescription drugs, happen to be on over-the-counter drugs, or have some issue you're concerned about? The answer is no. We've got an option for you one way or the other. So, can everyone use this system that is needing to lose weight? The answer in one form or another for that specific individual is also yes.
That's wonderful. I'm looking forward to continuing to help people change their lives, not only here in North America, but around the world. Russ, thank you so much for the work that you have done in formulating these world-class, life-changing, life-enhancing products with Zija International. Looking forward to the future, other products that I know are on the block, and, of course, many travels around the world. If you're listening to this CD, which was handed to you by a friend or an associate, and you'd like to find out more, they'll be happy to answer your questions. Of course, maybe even view the Discovery Channel documentary, possibly even read the book by Dr. Howard Fisher, which can be purchased at themoringabook.com. And most certainly get you on these products. You will experience a life-changing result, and you will be inspired to share those results with others. Thank you for being on Straight Talk, and we wish you success in all your ventures.
These words ain't easy to write, but I've got to. By the time you read my letter, I've left you.